Good day, all. I think today is a great um, topic, topics plural. When we talk about teens and the powerful skills of their life, we need to really zone in on these skills. And what I mean by that is, their discovery, their confidence, their mindset. And my guest today, super important, is the author of Powerful Life Skills for Teens. So I'm going to let her introduce her to you, and we're going to start the show.
Hi,
Hi.
good to see you. All right, I'm Galina Gauna. I have recently published this book last November, and um, part of the reason why I did that was because of my own difficult teen years, as well as my son had a lot of difficulties with anxiety, some learning disabilities, some other sensitivities that we had to learn to advocate for. We have tons of strategies, and I have gathered a lot because I also had a huge desire to actually be a therapist. Although I didn't become one, I have, in a roundabout way, become a life coach.
Mhm.
And so a lot of these skills and strategies I've packed into this book. I have over 180 different
Okay.
strategies, tips, and tools packed in there.
Awesome. And I think the things that we're going to talk about can relate to so many people. We can read about it. We can kind of talk about it through cooler talk among parents and kids. But I think once we get the definition or define these topics, it will better serve our audience for both them and you, so you both can connect and you can provide that those resources in greater detail. Let's talk about discovery confidence for a second. What do you mean by that?
The discovery topics.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, well, I feel like this is a journey I tried to lay out my book in the order of a personal journey for teens to discover, really help them discover who they are, what they like, why they like it, how to find inspiration, how to build habits, and kind of a step-by-step fun process that they can take in small bite-sized chunks and
Mm-hmm.
really apply it immediately to their life to start
Okay.
to make an impact.
And let's just give a teaser. Give me an example of a strategy how that would be accomplished.
Okay, so well, I'm going to refer to my notes.
Absolutely.
So what for chapter one, I start off with building healthy habits, and I really start off by trying to inspire and motivate teens through really studying the habits and routines of world athletes, of teen idols, icons, YouTubers, inventors, and other world leaders. And then I have them study their own habits and then start to really look to those around them in their own lives. So I found three strategies for helping them build habits. I also give them 5 top strategies for beating procrastination. That's all in chapter one.
Okay. We're all procrastinators, right?
Yes,
I am.
absolutely. Everybody.
Yes. I think that alone is worth them connecting with you. Um, yeah, absolutely. All right, let's talk about mindset.
Mhm.
Let's
Mindset, I think, is as equal to your physical health because mindset translates to your physical health. So, mindset in chapter two, I have it in 2 different chapters: emotional intelligence and mindset. So, in mindset, I really talk about the power of positive thinking, strategies to build a more optimistic mindset, and strategy and why gratitude is so powerful and what it attracts into your life. They also learn fundamental strategies to help them stop negative thinking and start the process of beginning to master their emotions.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's talk about gratitude. Why is that so important?
Gratitude is huge because through um, what we think and what we feel, I really truly believe that helps attract things to your life that are like it. And when you can tap into the feeling of gratitude and anything, I think the key is tapping into the smallest things. It's celebrating the small wins along the way, especially for teens.
I'm going to
Um,
put you on the spot.
yeah,
Sorry. You think of an example?
of a small win.
Small win, gratitude, how it all ties in.
Um, I guess like I'll just talk about my son this morning. He has been starting going to practice for a new, very, very tough basketball league. It was very intimidating, very challenging, and he's kind of pushed through some challenges of wanting to not go. And so we're really celebrating the fact that he's going, even
Mm-hmm.
though it's hard. He's not maybe doing very good at it yet, but we're celebrating the fact that he's going, he's trying.
Nice.
Um, you know,
That's good.
anytime you can celebrate small wins.
Absolutely. And within that conversation, you mentioned it, emotional intelligence.
Mhm.
I know it, you know it, but it's, when I talk about that piece to people, it's kind of self-explanatory, but can you explain exactly what that means in your words?
Um, so I feel like emotional intelligence has 4 or 5 different levels to it. But for me, I provide lots of stress management, being able to handle really difficult situations and being able to calmly and know that you have the skills to handle the stress. It's how you handle the problems when they come to you and stay grounded. So I provide lots of grounding techniques and stress relieving strategies because we've dealt with a lot of the anxiety stuff, uh,
Mm-hmm.
as well as tapping into empathy and relating to others.
Where do you think teens are the most stressed today? What area?
Oh,
Ah,
I don't
loaded
know.
question.
I think it's multiple. I think you
Give me
can't
two
narrow
or
it. Huh?
give me two or three.
Feeling like they're not good enough and smart enough to try new things that might be challenging.
Mm-hmm.
I think it holds them back. That they don't realize that they are more resilient than they think they are, and that just by trying new things that they normally wouldn't have tried, that can launch them.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Um, do you think social media plays a big part in that?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, and I have a whole chapter on social media and
Love it.
how to stop the comparison trap. That's a huge one. I think especially more for teen girls than teen boys, but um, it's learning how to use it as a positive tool, learning how to present yourself positively because that affects you down the road when you apply for applications. I have known of teachers that were going through their whole program to become teachers, and when they applied for their job, they looked back at some of their years prior on social media and they did
Mm,
not get their job because of their negativity they put out there.
sure. Yep. They're always looking. I'm so
Yeah.
glad we connected. So let's keep on going. Uh, career and money. I know they're two different things, but let's talk about that, how it fits into your space and your book.
Okay. Um, I have several tools for career quizzes and things that they can tap into to help them explore their career options. I also have set up ways to set their goals. And I know it's kind of been overplayed, but vision boards I think are still very, very useful, but you have to know there's 4 secrets to making them really powerful and work really, really well. And I feel like teen years are a huge time to tap into that creativity and to use it as often as they can, whether it's once a year, twice a year, 3 times a year. It's really powerful. It's changed my life a couple times. I was surprised. So I talk about that a little bit and how strategies to set goals. And then as far as, and there's time management strategies. And then for wealth, I feel like it's really important to build a wealth-based mindset because I tap into, someone else is talking about the strategy of, poor based mindset, the middle class mindset, and the wealth mindset. And
Mm,
it really is something to work on. And so that you have more opportunity to grow because you won't grow past where your mindset is. So if
Hmm.
you limit yourself to middle class, that's where you'll be. You might be comfortable, but you always want to try to push yourself in their mindset. But then as far as the basics, there's really good strategies for building your budget and for saving and for the big one, which is avoiding debt. And that's
Right.
the
All right.
impact.
So wet our whistle before the public before they get their hands on the publication. What would be one strategy? Let something out of the bag there. What would be one strategy for them to budget their money?
Oh, the you're gonna put me on the spot.
I love it. You're going to do it.
Um, well, I more was thinking about avoiding debt, but for me, because that was my downfall, was I always thought, all right, dogs. I always thought, and that's where I fell into the trap when I was 18 and I went off to college. I started getting credit cards because I was told you need to build your credit. You need to build your credit. So that's what I had in my head. Oh, I have to build my credit. I better get these credit cards because someday when I'm done with college, I will be able to pay them off.
Right.
I had no idea the impact of the interest rates and how difficult it was to get out from all that. So that to me is almost just as important.
All right. Well, let me ask you, since we're talking about this, um, when family units, parents and students take out the student loan, right? Now we're talking about money. Here we go, early on.
Mhm.
And as a family unit, either the parent and or the child, student, they know or they don't know the ramifications down the road, right? Let's get our kid off to college. It's all great until afterwards, till knock knock, 6 months later, you got to start paying this loan, right? So how much stake in the game does a parent have when it comes to all of these skills that the kid should have?
Well, I think it's essential that a parent helps them throughout the way. I'm hoping that because I also provide a free 50-page workbook that you can print out at home and that you could print out double, one for the parent, one for the teen, or one for a teacher, one for the kids. But I think it's pretty essential. I've had so much feedback already from parents my age to grandparents saying, I was never taught this. We just didn't talk about this. Or, there's just many different things that people don't necessarily talk about on a day-to-day busy life.
I agree, and I think until they hear from somebody else like you, then maybe it starts to resonate a little bit. Yeah, that's good. Let's talk about independence. I think the independence for teens, for the most part, is out the door. Right? They got to be wired. They got to be zoned in. Like it's not even like go out and go outdoors and play something, right? Although they're involved in sports, maybe. But you know what I'm saying. Let's talk
Yes.
about the independence piece.
Okay. Well, it's tied into communication. It, I feel like the final piece to the end of my book was basing, because I loved how one talk guru talked about the mind-mouth connection. It really is a thing. It's important to do. It's
Well, talk
important.
about that for a minute. What does that mean?
That just means you may be a great thinker. You may know how to control your emotions. You may have all these other skills, but if you can't use your words and articulate in a way that resonates with all different kinds of people, whether it's teachers, whether it's students, whether it's your parents, um, police, I don't know, anything. It's
Hmm?
just that's really important to be able to learn the skill to have assertive communication. The huge skill of learning to actively listen is what's really been missing with all of the technology. Kids don't have any practice when they're texting all the time, and then they get to whether they're going to be dating or hanging out. This whole active listening and then assertive communication is a big piece that they have to focus in on. How do you do that?
Right.
So, communicating and earning your independence and showing your parents that you know how to do a lot of these basic skills, that yes, I know how to cook for myself. I enjoy it because I like good food. that I know I'm going to be responsible when it comes to driving. I'm going to be responsible when it comes to getting enough sleep. Um, there's so many different pieces to showing that, yes, I can be independent. I can handle budgeting my money. and
You're
I'm,
right.
and I'm going to be safe.
Right. Yeah.
Communicate with my parents, in a way to keep them feeling like they know you're going to be safe.
Hmm. Did I miss anything? The highlights of your book, Powerful Life Skills for Teens.
Um, Probably the only thing that I also tap into is kind of the foundation of physical health, because without physical health, you can't really gain your mental clarity and focus on your emotions. So chapter 4, I believe, covers the vitality and energy of movement. And so dive into, sorry, my dogs, dive into fun ways to exercise and why that ties into mental health. I also have nutrition tips for top athletes as well as for mental clarity. I have the best protein sources, even if it's not coming from meat-based. There's protein-based protein sources, and then fun stuff like talking about why so many people are doing polar plunges. It's an athlete thing gone wild.
I do it once a year.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I
Anyhow.
have, yeah, lots of people are starting to do more cold showers, cold baths, cold swims on a regular basis to get that going. Um, but I think that about covers everything besides the learning how to have fun in the kitchen.
Hmm.
Lots of little fun techniques for having fun, building your own cookbook by the time you're leaving the house, um, and also using all the pro cooking tips for when you do grab a recipe, you know how to do it.
Hmm. So what? Well, we kind of talked about that, but again, let's reiterate. Why was it so important to you to write?
This was really important to me, partly because when I was growing up, my teen years were kind of a mess. Um, I had very low self-esteem. I really struggled with insomnia. I struggled from migraines. I struggled from acne, which affected my self-esteem. So I wasn't sleeping. I felt horrible about how I looked. I struggled with mental health, and to be quite honest, I was twice I would got to the point where I was suicidal.
Wow.
Um, we reached out. Well, I used as many tools as I could. We went to therapy. Um, my parents did their best, but I also had very real life scenarios. My parents got divorced. They both got remarried. We had blended families, blended siblings. That was hard. It wasn't easy. I moved around a lot. I even had a friend and coworker when I was 16 got murdered. And there's things that life happens and you got to learn to deal with it. And if I had some of these skills, more of them in my bag, I would have handled it better.
Hmm.
So I felt like I've learned a lot through this process. And then also with my son, just learning through his differences. He's a neurodiverse kid, but doing extremely well. So, yeah.
And I do appreciate you sharing your story because that makes you hopefully more relatable, right? Until you
Yeah.
go through those things, people can
Yeah.
talk about it and write about it, but unless you go through it, as you know, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Definitely relatable. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. So, powerful skills, life skills for teens. How can we find that publication?
So it's listed on Amazon. I think you'll be able to have the link to the website there.
Correct.
And I just wanted to share one last final thing about some of the feedback I've already gotten.
Yes.
Because I've had several 8 to 10 educators already look at the book. They've given really positive feedback. One of them already introduced it in one of their health-based classes. He started using it with the kids. He loved it. um, and then I've had so many of them just say the same thing, that I wish that I had this when I was little, or I wished I would have had this as a tool when I was a teacher.
Right.
Um, I've had grandparents thank me because they got into taking care of themselves again and getting healthy habits for themselves. And as far as I think parents just talking about the impact is really life-changing and that they wish that this was a part of schools that,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Now, the tie this all in, when you agree, and I know what you're going to say, but I think it's very important to share with everybody. Don't judge, right? Don't judge people. Kids should not judge others. And I know that ties into a lot of things that you are covering. But if we just make a blanket statement, the judgment that teens put among each other today,
Mhm.
it's disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really hard when you look at someone and they might be really mean to you or acting like a bully, but to be broad enough and to step back and go, oh, that really doesn't have to do with me.
Right.
It has something deeper going on with them. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what it is, but I'm going to try to let that go and
Yeah.
hope the
Good.
best.
Good. Well, I was excited to talk to you and to review these topics. All good stuff. Again, powerful life skills for teens. I'll provide all the information, and we're going to roll this out to our audiences, and good things to come.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome, and we will talk soon.
Okay.
Just stand by.